Well, I mean, definitely in the beginning, I had no intention or whatsoever that what I was practicing and what I'm still practicing now would lead to this to begin with. But martial art has a very, very deep meaning as far as my life is concerned, because as an actor, as a martial artist, as a human being, all these I have learned from martial art.
Last week, we talked about the continued evolution of Jeet Kune Do. Somewhat unexpectedly, that elicited a torrent of comments and participation way before the broadcast date. Not so much this week, that reaction, which makes me wonder if I've already lost picking interesting topics and titles. Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, and welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast number 148. This is the one, aka what we all owe to Bruce Lee. As you guys enough to say where you're logging in from, hit the like button and feel free to continue doing so throughout the live stream. If you're catching the final edit video on the YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. If you'd like to support the program, please visit jkdrebel.com, click on the Rebel Gear link, and see what we offer. But of course, the best thing you can do is to share this video and the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. So this topic of a debt that we could all owe Bruce Lee is obviously something that could take a long time to cover if we try to cover like every single aspect. But I'll give it a short. Obviously, we could start with the physical aspects of Bruce Lee's legacy. If we do that, for example, we would have to talk about the change in his approach to training after the fight with Wong Jack Man. It is said that he started to emphasize, stuff like cardiovascular training, as well as an increased interest and indulgence in weight training, probably through the influence of people like James Lee and Leo Fong. It appears that Bruce Lee's training methods went off in a completely new direction. By the time he moved to Los Angeles, he was apparently even deeper into using an approach to martial arts training that was very much like any athlete, particularly like boxers. There was the use of the heavy bag, the top and bottom bag, the focus mitts, the kick shield. There was also the use of an early model of the Marcy gym, and then, a complement of various free weights. So his legacy and influence on the physical aspects of martial arts, right, that we're definitely indebted to Bruce Lee for bringing, being one of the pioneers in that arena and bringing it into martial art, or bringing it into the arena of martial arts, right? So his pedigree is well established, because everything that I just mentioned today, in some shape or form, is in everyday use all over the world in martial arts training. Sifu Dan used to tell the story about the focus mitts, how he used to have, in the early days of seminar training, he used to have to carry a big bag of focus mitts, because not everybody had them the way that they do today. So that's the physical aspect, and there's much more that we could talk about in that arena. So I'll move on to the mental, if not philosophical, if not psychological, if not spiritual debt that we owe to Bruce Lee, right? So how's that, right? Once again, we know all about the personal library, Bruce Lee's personal library, consisting of over 2,000 books on myriad topics, including martial arts, philosophy, filmmaking, and even sales, right? And we know that reading is one way to greatly increase one's mental acuity, right? But as my JKD senior, Burt Richardson, is fond of saying, it is not the acquisition of knowledge that makes one powerful. Instead, it is the correct application of said knowledge that produces that attribute. So with the voluminous and now legendary notes that Bruce Lee left behind, he has also gifted us with templates, so to speak, for our own advancement as martial artists, and perhaps even our own advancement as human beings, if we choose to follow his example and actually apply his teachings. If you go on the internet and you do a search for Bruce Lee quotes, you might be there for quite some while, right? Because there's a ton of them. But as Linda Lee once said, memorizing and regurgitating Bruce Lee's words does not increase one's intelligence. However, adapting his thoughts for one's own actions gives life to his words. And sadly, we have too many people online, tons and tons of them, who love to spout off Bruce Lee dicta, then immediately turn around and contradict what he said with their own actions and their words. So they say one thing, and then when you see what they're doing, the two do not coincide. And this is perhaps because it is in the physical or the philosophical application of Jeet Kune Do that most people suffer a lack of ability. Some seem to think that mere duplication of physical technique qualifies as practice of the art. On the other hand, there appears to be some who believe that indiscriminate collection of various techniques is more in keeping with the JKD theory of looking at combat from all angles, all possible angles. But again, I'll do my own thing here. I'll do the same thing I was talking about, Bruce Lee quotes. Bruce Lee said, learning is definitely not mere imitation, nor is it the ability to accumulate and regurgitate fixed knowledge. Learning is a constant process of discovery, a process without an end. So don't copy Bruce Lee and think that you're doing Jeet Kune Do. Another quote of his was, remember, you are expressing the techniques and not doing the techniques. If somebody attacks you, your response is not technique number 5, stance number 2, section 4, and paragraph 5, right? So being able to pull off a massive number of techniques from many different arts also does not constitute the practice of Jeet Kune Do. I'll ask you to keep in mind that according to Sifu Dan and Asano, Sijo Bruce Lee was fond of a quote, I guess, by this scientist guy, Charles Steinmetz, right? And he had said that he considered spiritual realization to be the branch of science that would make the greatest advances. I guess we still have to see, right? Okay, so one last quote to put all of this in perspective. If you always put limits on everything you do, physical or anything else, it will spread into your work and into your life. There are no limits, only plateaus. And you must not stay there. You must, what does it say? You must go beyond them, right? So let me show you something else here. Give me a second, let me get it into the stream. So if you're not familiar with that graphic, it's somewhat of a cartoonish depiction of what is called the mastery path. And this is taken from George Leonard's book, Mastery, which is something that I've talked about here on the broadcast many, many times. But essentially, what it says is that the mastery path is one continuous journey of not ups and downs. It's actually of ups and plateaus. You see, not ups and downs as a lot of people would try to tell you. The idea is that when you reach a plateau, that's where you have to be disciplined to work through it until your level kicks up into another gear, right? In other words, if you've run a martial arts school, if you've had students for any length of time, you will know that very often people hit a plateau and that's when they become disenchanted. That's when even like you'll hear it in the kids a lot. I don't want to go anymore because I'm not learning anything new. And what they're mistaken, it happens with adults too, obviously, but what they're mistaken is the fact that their level has increased, but now they are on that plateau where you really, really inculcate that knowledge, right? So what say you? What are your thoughts on the debt that martial artists in general and JKD practitioners in particular owe to Bruce Lee? All right, let me see who showed up today. Terry Valor. Hey, Terry Valor, you'll know what I'm talking about when I go like this. Okay, all right. Benny Hinton asks, what do I like about JKD so far? Benny, that's not, well, Benny, okay, Benny, let's do this. We are on number 148 of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. So my suggestion, head over to the YouTube, go on the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast channel, and you will have 147 episodes of this podcast that will give you an idea of the things that I like about Jeet Kune Do so far. All right. Okay. Anybody else have anything? Hey, Russell, Anthony Labrador is here. Daryl White. Hey, Niels Mitrovic. Mark Stewart. Thanks for hooking me up. Pedro Rodriguez. Hey, Dax. Mark Walker is here. All right. Charles Loudermilk. Terry. Okay. Zach Petreka says, we owe everything to Bruce and for the brilliance of JKD, and not the only one I know of that emphasizes the highest level of martial arts, which is interception. Okay. All right. I'm with you on that, Zach. Okay. All right. So I got to do a 7 o'clock private lesson. So that's it for today. Feel free, share, like, comment, ask questions. I'll review everything later on today. Sign up for notifications for when we go live here on Facebook, and please subscribe over on the YouTube for the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast channel and the Jeet Kune Do dialogues. And when you subscribe, please make sure that you hit the notification bell. We are at over 1,000 subscribers to the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues channel. I would really, really appreciate it if all you guys who have subscribed to that channel would in turn subscribe to the broadcast as well, so we can get the subscription level up on that. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods and on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. I love jeetkunዶ.com. Quick Skill Series Volume 1 is available. Volume 2, we started working on that last Sunday. So theoretically, right? So that that's looking on the up and up. Coming up on Friday, October 2nd, Jeet Kune Do Dialogues with Andre Siganov of Combat Force Gym in Creve, and that will be 1 hour earlier than usual. So we'll be at 5 p.m. On Friday with Andre Siganov. Right? Today's an Indigo Day. There you go, right? So I'll see some of you on Friday, 5 p.m., 1 hour earlier, Terry Valor, right? The rest of you, hopefully I'll see you back here next week for another issue of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. Until then, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, signing off. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Talk soon. Take care.
It's 2020. He died in the early 70s. Every kid on this planet still knows who Bruce Lee is, and ESPN is producing a 30 for 30 on Bruce Lee. That's how powerful Bruce Lee still is to this day. He believed that no one style is the best. You had to have a little piece of everything to be a complete fighter. And he was absolutely right, and it was never really proven until the first UFC. And you know, Bruce Lee's art, the way he thought, his philosophies were all way ahead of his time. We needed Bruce Lee when he came at that time to help martial arts grow the way that it did. And then it took the UFC, in the early 90s to take it to the next level. He was part of the evolution, and he was the father of mixed martial arts.
You must attend the morning ritual in uniform.
Outside.